didn't have to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts. Just beware of the thorns.
Hello YouTube. Today I'd like to talk about a guy I got to know in prison named Jon Evans. And before we get into this, subscribe if you're new, comment, share, and okay, let's get into this. I met Jon Evans while I was in prison, and I'm still in contact with him. In fact, he's one of the subscribers here, so shout out to you, Jon. But I had made a video here a while back about real people and fake people in prison, and Jon is one of the realest I've ever met, and I appreciate that in him, and I think that's why we got along, because we was real. But Jon does what he says he's going to do. He says what he means, and I think people who are real and they get out of prison, they're in for a shock. You know, we have trouble communicating with people out here because sometimes because I mean, we say what we mean. We're not going to hold back, and I think some people don't know how to take that, you know, and we don't know how to take them because sometimes they don't really say what they're wanting to mean, or they hold back on us, or they're fake, you know, and we're not used to that. But anyway, there's different groups in prison, and a lot of them are not genuine. I'm talking about religious groups. You know, you have some that, like Christians, so let's take those for example. You have people who walk around on the yard and with the Bible in their hand, and they take all these programs, and they do all this because they're trying to impress the parole board. Not all of them. There's some that walk around with the Bible in their hand. They're real, but the majority that do are just doing it for a show, trying to impress the prison and the parole board. Some of the realest Christians I've met have been the ones that you wouldn't even know it unless they're celly, unless you're in the cell with them. They read their Bible a little bit at night, pray a little bit, and to me, they're more real than those that are just doing it to impress people for the parole board or whatever. Because they're not out in the open doing it. You don't even know they're doing it unless, like I said, you're in the cell with them. Oldness are the same way. There's real ones in prison, and there's those who call themselves oldness but are not really oldness. They're doing it for all the wrong reasons. And I don't care what your beliefs are, whatever, just be real. And so Jon is one of the realest that I know, especially in this regard. He practices what he preaches, and I remember him telling me that he was going to do the same thing once he got out, and I believed him. I had no, because I knew he was real. I knew he wasn't just talking out the side of his neck, but I didn't realize how far he'd take it. And so he came by to see me a few months back, and we was in the park talking, and he showed me pictures. Uh, he talked about it, and so John, I want to give a shout out to you and your group, and I wish you guys continued success. Uh, you guys are not on any kind of fake level. You guys are real, and I appreciate that more than anything. You know, there's some people in prison that will talk bad about certain people, but then when they're around those certain people, they're all buddy buddy to them. And I've never believed in it. If you want to talk bad about a certain group, be like that whether you're behind their back or in front of them. Just be real. I will tell you this: you go to prison, and maybe even out here, but you go to prison and you're real. Sometimes it can get you in trouble. But you know, I'm not going to tell you one thing and then do another. Or I'm not going to say this about you behind your back and then go up and shake your hand and pat you on the back and all this and that. You know, if I don't like you, I don't like you. If somebody doesn't like me, I prefer them tell me. Instead of coming up with a smile on their face and saying how you're doing. So we got me and John and this other guy, Sci-Fi, and a few others got together, and we formed this group that was more of a learning group. And we just tried to learn more about not only ourselves but other people, other cultures. And I think I was into the Irish thing for a while, and I was trying to learn that. That is a hard language. John and a few others, they was trying to learn German, and I think a couple of other languages. And we had people on the outside helping us. But it's like I said in I think in the last video. For some reason, if you're trying to better yourself in prison, they really have no problem with it. They're not really going to help you any either. But if there was people trying to learn German or something, they frowned upon it. It's like everybody learning German in prison is racist or something, and that's not true. Not everybody's about that. Like I said, I got along with all walks of life, from different backgrounds in prison. Bosnians, other ethnic groups. It didn't matter. If I got along with you, I got along with you. If I didn't, I didn't. It didn't matter what you looked like or anything. But the prison kind of, we had so much trouble with that, Now, I remember when John finally gets transferred, I write him a letter, and the first two lines were in German, and here's all it said. It said, "Hi, how are you doing? Where you been up to?" Or something like that, something along those lines. It was sent back to me, and if I remember correctly, and they made him, he had to use his own stamp to send it back to me, if I remember correctly. And if I remember correctly on the next part, he writes a letter and asked about how the group was going, and they took it as a gang thing. Almost rolled him up, I believe. And that's just frustrating to me. whatever you're trying to learn in prison, it shouldn't matter as long as it's for positive. It shouldn't matter uh, what it is. I mean, no matter what it is, if you're trying to improve yourself, there should be no problem. You know, like I said, they have no problem with Spanish being spoken. There's a lot of that going on in prison now. Nothing against Mexicans or anything like that. I got a lot of friends that's Mexicans in prison, and they're funny as heck, man. But I'm just saying, there's no. It seems to be unequal, you know. But anyway, I got kind of off the topic there. Sci-fi, he gets out and we don't hear from him. Jon gets out and he stays in contact. In fact, I think he's the one that found me after we got out, contacted me through Facebook. I think he's the one that did it. And that just shows you how real he is. He said he was going to stay in contact, and he did. And did exactly what he said he was going to do. That's the type of people we need, not only in prison, we need this in the real world too. People who are going to be real. People who are going to be real with you, with themselves, and not just go with whatever the current thing is. If there's something you don't like and somebody asks you about it, don't all switch up just because you're afraid of what they're going to say. Be real. And I tell you what, when you go to if you go to prison, God forbid, I'm not wishing prison on anybody, but you go to prison, the best thing you can do is be real. Jon will tell you this. It's the best way to be real.